To the top left of the map, we have our Prime player. He's playing for his team and for the Terran Pride. It is
Byun Prime.
Byun, good calling L. Also used to go by the ID Ghost King, which he certainly was in his first match of the night.
Yeah.
His opponent for the new team, Azubu, an organization making a lot of waves. He is
Azubu Genius.
Now we have Genius.
definitely, you know, you talked about the fun, the awkwardness of Byun, but I would say the same of Genius. He's got that same sort of charm to him, especially when you see him do interviews or when he was on Off the Record. That's Genius, man.
There was the match history for them in the GSL. Byun won both encounters with a 2-1.
Yep, and this time it's of course only a best of one.
And talking about the players, and of course we want to give them the extra exposure, we have for Byun, if you're a Terran fan, his Twitter account is Byun Prime. Twitter kind of the tool that everyone uses in esports, and for good reason. Pretty easy to follow someone, show them support, and send them the occasional tweet. You can do the same thing for the Protoss player that we have here. He has his own Twitter account, which is actually Azubu_Genius.
Yeah, and of course, if you want to follow the two of us, follow at Calder, KH, and myself at Proxywolf. And, you know, last time we were telling you guys to tweet your setups and watching the GSL. I'd like to continue that theme today. I'm actually getting more and more tweets. I'm checking them during the breaks, and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing.
I'm worried for the people that tweet us that they have an exam falling tomorrow and that they are still watching live. Guys, the GSL is awesome, but still, you should take your exam serious.
I disagree. Definitely need to watch GSL. And tell your friends to also stop practicing and studying for their exams and buy a pass and watch the GSL.
You can do that after the exam, believe me.
And make sure if friends have a cat and they're watching the GSL, you send a picture to me, because I'd like to see that.
Double barracks now for our Prime player to follow up the command center that he built first. As a defensive measure, we don't have gas taken by Byun just yet. And Genius on this two-player map is moving out with one probe, just having a quick look at the Zalnaga watchtower here.
Yeah, we've had both players go for their expansion first, which we already saw earlier.
You know, on this map, what you can do, you can definitely go for this keen style where you have a few Marines and try to run around the vision of the Zalnaga watchtower. I was having a look at Hux, the stream. He's streaming a lot, which actually surprised me quite a bit because he has the up and down matches coming up.
Yeah.
So he's streaming quite a lot these days.
Trying to trick people, he's using fake strats.
He's playing a pretty long streaming hours, so I'm not quite sure if these are all fake strats, but he's getting a lot of training in there. And I was watching him playing against a Terran player on this map, and it just works out. If you are trying to dodge the vision of the Zalnaga watchtower, you can approach the ramp. Hawk lost one of his ladder games because he was just surprised by a few Marauders and Marines coming in there from an angle that he didn't expect. You have very little time to see that happen and force field, so it is a map where you can do that. You have to be careful. If you look at the minimap, it really gives you the illusion of having a full coverage and being completely safe, but there's this small edge where you just can't see the units, and if your opponent is abusing that, then you might just appear at his doorstep and take him down.
Yeah, you might be unnoticed. Robo goes down for DS on the low ground, interesting enough, before his gates, so he's going to have very fast observer out to know what's going on. We've seen already people do, we saw Bomber go for pressure with a hidden Marauder push on this map, and he was able to sneak that over. You're so right about sneaky things that you could do with this map to trick your opponent, and Byun is going up to triple barracks with a few Marauders. He could actually pressure a little bit at Genius's natural with Stim. And with GS going robotics first, he's going to be a little bit low on units when that push hits, but the map is still so big. It's hard to call who's going to win that fight, but a normal tech going down for Byun as well with the factory.
And we have him with additional gates, so he's playing really gateway heavy from the beginning here, investing a lot into the ability to warp additional units in if need be. And with good scouting, he will identify what's going on. Shutting down this scout, but actually the SCV gets all the information that he needs. Sees the Nexus and also has vision on the robotics.
Yeah, and that's actually, there's one advantage having a robot there, is that your Immortals rally out faster. But the disadvantage, of course, comes that your opponent can see what's going on. So this actually may trigger Byun to do one of two things. He may go for a faster third base, but more, or not a third base, but a third command center, probably in his main, or go for a pressure attack with his first two medevacs, which we've seen so many Terran players do over the past year, because he knows his opponent's going to be, for a short window of time, a little bit low on gateway units. Meanwhile, Genius is going robotic support bay. very quickly without any immortals, so he wants to use those Colossi to be able to hold against that 2 medevac pressure.
Yeah, gets them out very fast. He has the first immortal. He's not quite confident enough in his defensive abilities to do that without an immortal. He's getting 1. Byun is sitting tight for now. And of course, a lot of Protoss players are really cheering for Genius now. The Protoss in this group not doing well.
Yeah. He's struggling. In fact, all the Protoss in this group having a little bit of trouble. SOS.
Not a single win.
Yeah.
Not a single Protoss win today.
Well, SOS won against another Protoss, but otherwise, yeah.
I don't count the PvP.
Exactly.
The PvP, that's the one.
Besides that.
Yeah.
No Protoss.
No single win against another race.
Exactly.
Should have been more specific about that, I guess.
Right now we have range coming out, and Genius adds additional gateways. Only 2. There is the 3rd. He could actually try to hit a timing attack, and with that pylon, it starts to seem more and more conclusive. He may go for 2 Colossi with range, the most common Colossus timing attack that we've seen Genius do several times. It's not Shoya style with the forward robotics bay.
It's a bit the IPL style from Squirtle,
Yes.
what he used back then. Only Alive was able to stop him. It's something that we don't see that often anymore, though.
Yeah, it's really fallen out of style. The reason why, actually, to be perfectly frank, is the maps are, I don't want to say too big. I want to say too big, but for the sake of saying what's true is they're just bigger. And
both of them moving out and meeting in the middle of the map
in the
now.
middle of the map, and this actually gives Byun a slight advantage, depending on how he engages. The force fields were actually so good for Genius, though, that he turned it around.
A great pickup here by Byun, saving his units. Combat Shield is just started, as is Concussive Shells. +1 is well-timed, though he is about to be completed.
If he had concussive shells and combat shields in the middle of the map, he probably would have just fought that. But without the concussive shell, or without combat shields rather, with those Colossi coming out, he can't fight against this army. He doesn't want to.
Vikings are now being built as Byun realizes that he needs more anti-air. The factory is being attacked.
I can't believe he sees this army with his factory and walks towards it. It's way too big for him to handle.
He walks towards those rocks as well. He would be trapped in the corner. He doesn't have enough medivacs to save the entire force. Has to stim to get away.
Yeah,
but the double drop in the main base, that's going to be very dangerous.
This is really important. He needs to actually warp in and grind them zealots, and he does. And this turns Genius around. This is exactly what Byun was hoping for. That's why he kept his units here so long, because now he's going to try to run to the natural potentially. Oh wow, really nicely done. Byun gets everything out.
Nice. Drops the Marauder to make sure that the fire is targeted on the ground unit, that the medevac can escape. Really smart decision making here by Byun. Moving into the natural now, picking off another pylon. Could actually also kill the sentry, but doesn't realize it in time. Would also be very dangerous. Overextending himself to this spot is always a risk.
It's a bit risky. That one sentry protected itself, and that one zealot with his guardian shield, and Byun was like, nah, I don't want to go in there. That's a scary zealot inside that guardian shield. Byun at this point is a little bit on the run, especially because there's a warp in to the north, which is going to cut some of his units off.
Yeah, Genius wants to go for it now. He's once more moving out. He has the pylon to the top right. He's going for it. He's warping in additional units. 3 Colossi against 4 Vikings.
And the 4th Colossus is about to pop out. He got several medevacs with those Stalker warp-ins, and there's several Byun's units down here to the south, which Genius doesn't really have an answer for, but they're not here in this fight. Here come the Vikings. All he has to do is target them down.
A mass repair and no force fields to block the repair. At the bottom right, we have the Terran player doing a lot of damage against the probes of Genius. And the Azubo player is trying to push through. Finally, the force fields. No repair possible anymore.
The Colossus goes down. Those units were 1 shot away from dying, but now the medevac can heal them. This is actually so close.
It's really close.
Genius needs warp-ins, but he's about to get unpowered. He needs that warp-in.
He needs those pylons. Another pylon is already gone, and now he can't warp in from these 3 gates anymore. The supply is better for the Azubu Protoss on the other hand. The main base is being attacked. Genius walking up the ramp, not enough to defend against this. 2 Colossi are too much, not a single Viking left for Byun.
Yep, there's another group of units for Byun in the middle of the map that he seems to have forgotten about. Those units that we just saw on screen, those could have helped him out. The units to the south could have helped him hold, but I think GS has finally done it. He has enough warp-ins. He still has 2 Nexi, holds off the attack of the main, kills all the production of Byun. He nearly doubles Byun's supply, and we're going to have to see a GG here because
Genius, he knows that his up and down life is on the line. If he loses this game, then he's in Code A. He wants to save his chances. He wants to go to Code S, and he's in a good position to do so. 75 supply against 39, and he's starting to destroy the production of his opponent.
He wants to take these units out before the medevacs heal them. He needs to use good force fields. He actually doesn't have a lot of energy. The Ice Spiker on those Colossi, and the Immortal is going to seal the deal.
The Immortal takes these Marauders out, and they are the last line of defense for the Terran player.
GG, and Genius is trying to keep himself in this. Takes the first Protoss non-mirror win of the group. Very impressive play by Genius. Great decision making. And maybe, just maybe, he can turn this around. The only player I can really think of off the top of my head who was down like this and made a comeback was Marine King. Remember that crazy tie situation? Maybe, just maybe, Genius can turn this one around.
A great game by the Protoss here, and now we are heading into our next match, which is gonna be Bomber versus SOS.
Yes.
SOS, another Protoss player who was in had a bit of tough luck.
Yeah, we have so many Protosses in this group, but they're all having some tough luck, like you said. And the map that we're going to see this on is, in fact, going to be Whirlwind. A map that's a little bit better for Protoss than the map we just saw. I like Genius's build order of choice on that map. We don't see that build very often anymore, like you said, but it's one that when you do see it, it can be really threatening, really scary, especially if you're out of position out in the middle of the map.
It was just a lot of DPS that he had, a lot of momentum going for him when he was finally able to push out. And Byun just didn't have enough. His forces were all so spread out. He had this medivac drop that did damage at the bottom right, but these units were missing at the top left. And the split of units was just way better for Genius. Now we are having another match, another Terran versus Protoss, with Bomber already being 2-0 in the group. He could take his third win and then once again be tied with Yal. SOS has other plans, of course. He's on 1-1. He won against Genius, but lost earlier against Yal. Now he faces his first Terran opponent on Whirlwind.
And this match is virtually as important for SOS as the last one was for Genius. And for Bomber, taking this one, like you said, would put him tied for first, give him the next best shot at getting straight out of the group into Codes. This is a very important match for Bomber.
Yeah.
He wants to get out of this. He has been a player that's been relatively inconsistent in the past, but when he is good, when he's on fire, he really is. I like to call this the snowball effect of Bomber. Whenever Bomber gets a win, he gets another win. He might get just unlimited wins, especially when it comes to Team League. He's gotten so many all kills. It seems like no matter how many wins he gets, the next game he looks better and better.
Yeah, but never count SOS out. He started things with a loss, but now he is on, not really a win streak, but he has one win so far. He wants a second one. Can he pull it off? He's a strong opponent to face. Will Bomber have an answer? This is the second PBT for Bomber on Whirlwind. Against Genius he won with a 3-base timing. Will he do it again? Same strategy. We're gonna find out. The map is live. Let's jump into this game at the GSL up and downs. Bomber versus SOS with Hold on Wolf.